What's going on, guys? Nathan with Technology Smash, back with another video. Long time no see. I'm back here with this MeatStick. Now I reached out to MeatStick and they were cool enough to send me this sample. It's this extender set. It's a wireless Bluetooth thermometer, so it's for cooking, and this thing is super awesome. So we're gonna kind of go into this. I'm gonna show you exactly how to set this up. We're gonna do a cook. On the back here, you can see it shows you step 1 is to insert the MeatStick. Step 2 is to choose what you're doing through the mobile app. Step 3 is the mobile app will alert you when it's done. And step 4 is you get to enjoy your perfectly cooked meat. I must say that this was a lot of fun to use, and it actually works really well. I like it a lot. So we'll get into the unboxing here. You're going to notice on the right hand side here we have the MeatStick, and then you get a couple of stickers here, or sorry, you get one sticker and then like a pamphlet, and then there is a coupon code to get 5% off your own order, and here's that code if you want to use that. And then into the packaging here we have the actual MeatStick itself. So the stick goes into this charging cradle basically, so those two prongs help charge it, and they touch on the back side, and then the other side I think is just a holder. The whole unit might help charge it, I'm not entirely sure, but you can see those two holes there. And then there's a sticker actually on here that I'm having trouble focusing obviously here, and it says to make sure that you insert the stick into the meat all the way up to the handle to prevent damage. I think it has something to do with the heat. So that snaps in. It's really easy to take in and out. The button here will show you the charge indicator, so green means that it's charging, red means it needs new batteries. So there's 2 rubber feet on the bottom to keep it from sliding if you have it on a countertop. This back panel pops off, and inside that panel you have 2, I believe these ones were 2 AAA batteries, and then you can snap that back on. There is another version that is Microusb charging. This is the part of the extender set, so you put this closer to the actual thermometer, and then you can walk around and go farther away. It has a magnet on the back too, so you could stick it to the grill if you have any metallic surfaces. That one takes 2 AA's, so it's basically, it's an extender, a Bluetooth extender to make it to where you can go farther. So that's this kit that I have here, and you can see that on the packaging. So it makes it to where you can go further away from the thermometer, because it did lose connection because I didn't set it up with that extender right away. But I was pretty far away from it. I was pretty impressed with the overall distance. So you are going to get through the setup. It's pretty straightforward, but I wanted to show a few things here. So you're going to choose your charger. Mine is battery powered. You're going to choose which set. So there's a better set even that comes with 2 that's a Wi-Fi bridge set. It's going to tell you there's a dual temperature sensor. So the outside shows ambient sensor of what the surrounding area is for heat, and then there's obviously the internal temperature, which is most important that you need. Shows you the extender and what it actually does and how far away you can go once you have it set up. And then just a bunch of cautionary information that you can read yourself if you get this, or you can pause through. There's videos for everything too, which is really cool, and it will walk you through even better, than I have, that MeatStick made themselves. And this is just info here on how the charger works. So like I said, if you press the button and it's green, that means that it's charging. If you press it and it's red, that means it needs more. And it'll kind of walk you through all these steps right here. So you're going to go to a new cook. All this is just the first time setup. So you can see it's highlighting areas it wants you to touch. So this isn't actually how it'll look once you go through the first options, but really cool, really intuitive. And then you kind of can see on this screen here, it's going to ask you the way you're cooking first and what you want to cook next. So we have a steak today, and I'm going to touch steak, and then it's going to say how do you want it cooked. This is going to continue through, so I'm going to cook this steak that you see right here. This is going to continue through, so you won't see the options, but you'll see it here in a minute. It's going to tell you the optimal temperature for that, so the ambient temperature in the outside air, and then the target temperature, which is 145 degrees. It's going to ask you the thickness, and it's going to give you an estimated time at how long it's going to take to cook. You can name the cook if you want. I just left it as steak. But the early warning is 140 because it wants to rest and get it to 145. You can change any settings here before you start, but you hit start the cook and it's going to scan and it's going to create the cook. And when it does that, it's going to tell you here to insert the stick into the thickest part of the meat and make sure it goes all the way in. So I'm not exactly sure if you have a piece of meat that won't go the whole length of the stick, since it is pretty long, but they do sell a mini one, I believe. So you can see here, this is going to be me taking it out for the first time, and I'm going to insert it into the meat. I did this with my non-dominant hand, so this is a little sketchy because it was the thickest side and I didn't think to turn the plate around, but it slides right in once you get the poke through. And then I just kind of made sure it was flattened down and didn't go through the side, so you can see it's all the way down the handle. And we're going to throw this guy on the grill. So you're going to choose, again, like I said, the temperature is going to show right there. So right now you can see it's 52 degrees because it was in the fridge. So I'm going through these options again. Now you can see those options and you can choose whatever type of cook you'd like. I need to change the thickness here because I actually measured to make sure, and it's almost exactly an inch thick. It's going to tell you the early warning is 140 degrees because you're going to take it off and rest it until it's 145, because most, if not all, meat needs to rest to kind of soak those juices back in. It's going to give me that warning again to tell me how to put it in. It's going to tell you to please clean the stick off to make sure it's free of soot and looks like new every time you use it. At first I didn't want that to remind me again, but then I decided to leave it on because I'd like to be reminded to make sure to keep it as clean as possible and not just kind of throw it back. So we're going to take this guy, we're going to throw it on the grill, and don't worry, my hands are clean here. I'm going to bare hand it because I didn't want to try to grab with those tongs on camera. So I'm going to flip it to where the end of the thermometer isn't directly over the flame. I just have the left side of my Weber grill lit up, so we're going to go ahead and throw that in. And I have a few screenshots here to show what it looks like. So you can see on the left, this is after I first put it on. You can see it's only been 2 minutes, 118 in the air and 51 internal into the meat. You can see the two graphs at the bottom. So now this has been a while. It's been on for 15 minutes. It says I have 4 minutes left, 222 in the air, 122 in the meat itself. When you get to that resting temperature that it wants you to start, you can see right there, it tells you to take it off, and basically this is the resting period because you hit your 140. So we're going to take it off right at this moment here, and I'll let you hear that sizzle. And the whole process was, it honestly was pretty fun to watch the meat and see what was going on through the app and see how close it was getting and see how close the timers and stuff were. It was really cool. So here we have it completely cooked, and the app kind of lights up red like this and tells you, hey, your meat is done to what you specified you wanted it as. So it's time to eat it. So this did end up resting a little bit longer. So it's a little bit pinker than it actually was, and you got to make sure to remove that thermometer with something like this towel I did because it is hot. It was in the grill for 20 minutes, and it's a piece of metal, so don't touch it with your hand. So I'm going to cut through this here. There's a little strip of fat at the end that kind of made it hard, but this steak is cooked perfectly, and you can see my gestures after this. I was very excited. The steak looks great. I always overcook steak because I want it to be cooked well, but I know it tastes better this way for the most part. I'm hyped right here. Very excited. Again, thanks. Huge shout out to the MeatStick. I'm so happy that they responded and sent one out to me. Love to be able to make this video. So I'll share some info down below on where you can find one of these for yourself, but feel free to leave any questions. And as always, I'll catch you next time. Later.